Hello everyone, Essence here. Today I want to show you how to set up a rubric for grading and feedback assessment on Now. The rubric feature is integrated into our VLE platform, making it easier for academic staff not only to grade the work, but also to provide quality feedback faster to students. It also allows for the evaluation of students' performance using statistics that are automatically produced by the rubrics. Unlike UMark, rubrics are reusable, customizable, and linked directly to your module, streamlining the entire grading and feedback process. I have previously created a PDF guide explaining the step-by-step process, but it is always good to have a video to demonstrate how it works. In this video, I will simply follow the steps outlined in the guide. To start, you need to have access to your learning room. Additionally, you need your grade descriptor table, which you usually include in your assessment brief, as we just copy and paste text from the brief into the rubrics. Don't forget that you go through this process only once for each assessment, and you can keep using it in future years. Okay, so let's kick off. So this is the guide. As you can see, it has so far it has 11 chapters, and chapter 1 is about creating a rubric on Now. So I just go through this chapter in this video. As you can see, there are 16 steps or stages to create a rubric. So I'll show you how it works step by step today. All right, first thing you should do, you navigate to your module learning room. And now this is my module learning room, and then you click on edit room. So here under assessment group, you can find rubrics, this one. Click on rubrics, and then you click on new rubric because we want to create a new one from scratch. So click on this blue button, and here you get the interface. So you have the table and everything, and we need to now import or text into this table. But before that, we need to do some adjustments. For example, make sure type is set on analytic, right? There is holistic option as well, but at our school we use analytic rubric. And then for scoring, currently set on points, change this to custom points. And make sure you always start with the highest grade. I mean, for example, for postgrad, we have exceptional distinction, distinction. You can see, for example, in this table, we have level 3, level 3, level 4, level 3, level 2, level 1. So make sure you have distinction, commendation, pass, so ever. If it doesn't look like that, you can use this option to reverse it, right? Column 3 is something like fail, pass, commendation. I don't like it to be like this. I mean, I want to change it to from top to bottom, I mean, from distinction towards the pass. So I set it like this. Now I want to show you my assessment brief. I have it in another screen. It's always good to use two screens for setting up your rubric. As you can see, it's a normal assessment brief, and if I go down, you can see my descriptors here. It's a postgraduate module, so if you have undergraduate module, you will get different descriptors. It's fine. The process is the same, but yeah, as you can see, I have 4 criteria in this assessment, and I need to copy and paste information from this table to my rubric. Okay, on my rubric, I give it a name. So this is the name of the module, element 2, and it's a report, so I add the name. Now I have to enter the levels, and if you are having an undergraduate module, your levels, I mean, these grades might be different, but for postgrad, it is exceptional distinction. So The way you write it here is not that important, to be honest. So any format you like, you can use. So I use high this, mid this, low this, and then I need more columns here, right? So I just use this plus button here to add more columns. I need 3 columns for commendation. So high com, mid com, low com, then 3 more columns for pass. So high pass, mid pass, low pass, and then more columns for fail. So large fail, mid fail, low fail, and 0. For postgrad, I should have 14 columns, and if you are having an undergraduate module, you should have 17 columns. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 columns I have for grading. And you do this only once, you don't need to repeat it for other criteria. So the table is now ready to copy and paste my descriptor from the assessment brief to here. Okay, now the table is ready and we can incorporate all criteria and descriptors. When you want to create a table, it's always better to start from the last criterion. Unfortunately, you cannot freeze this heading. So when you input the first criterion, you will get a tall table somewhere here. And you won't be able to see the heading for the following criteria. And this may increase the chance of error. Therefore, I always start with the last criterion that I have in my brief. So this is the brief. And which one should I start first? With this one, quality of report. So I just copy and paste the criterion into my rubric. So first criteria, quality of report. It's always good to add the weighting as well. If you like, I think it's a good practice if you can add your learning outcomes too. So it would be very clear for students. So this criterion is linked to, for example, which learning outcome. Because it's quality of report, I don't have any learning outcome, to be honest. So I didn't add any, for example, K1, S1, these sort of things here. Let's add the other criteria. Managing health and safety, 30%, and you can see I've added knowledge 1 and knowledge 3. Next one is risk. So I add it here. Okay, so as you can see, I need more criteria to add. So if you want to add an extra criteria to your table, only this button, add criterion, you click and you get a new row for adding the criteria. So I add my last criteria here. So project plan, and all criteria are now added to my table. And next step is just copy and paste descriptors to the table. Okay, now I just want to bring my brief again, show it to you. So what I need to do, I need to find the criterion I'm working on, which is quality of report. Then for distinction, I have only these descriptors for exceptional, high, mid, and low. I use this descriptor, so I select it, then right click and copy. Then I minimize this. And here for the first criterion, quality of report, under the score, I have this box. Right click, means selected, then right click and then paste as plain text. Don't paste it directly. Please right click and use the plain text copy function. So you will have a nice and clean, descriptor placed in this box. And that's why I told you start with the last criteria. When you go to the next one, you are not able to see the headings. So it might be a bit difficult for you to incorporate the descriptors later, but I will show you how you can prevent this problem. So for the first criterion for distinction is this section is done. Then similar descriptor, again, right click, plain text, right click, paste as plain text. Similarly for low distinction, I put this descriptor. So for distinction level, descriptors are all done and ready. So for other levels, again, I need to copy the descriptor from my assessment brief and just paste them as plain text in these boxes. So low commendation again, plain text. Then for pass, copy descriptors and paste as plain text here. And for fail, large fail, mid fail, low fail. And for 0, you can just put work of no merit or not submitted. Right. Next step is inputting the weighted scores into the rubric. In these boxes labeled as PT. So you should retrieve the weight of each criterion from your assessment brief and calculate the score for each band by multiplying the weight with each grade point. These grade points can be found in NTU Quality Handbook, but to make the process easier, we've developed an easy calculation table. So this table is available for you to download. So we have 2 tabs here, so undergrad and postgrad. Please use the appropriate one. For postgrad, we have different weighting here. For example, if your criteria is 5%, you use these numbers. If the criteria is 10%, use these. If you have 8 criteria, these figures. If you have 7 criteria, you can use this row. 15%, 20%, even 45%, 35%, even 3 criteria. So we have all these weighting calculated for you. What you need to do, you should copy weighting from here and paste it into your rubric. That's it. Unfortunately, I cannot select all of them and paste them into rubric directly. It doesn't work like that. So I need to input them manually one by one. So the table is a very useful tool, but please get one of your colleagues to moderate your work after creating the rubrics and make sure the calculations, they are all correct. My first criteria weighting is 10%, so I need to use this row. I can highlight it to make sure I'm using the correct row. So 10%, the first one, exceptional distinction, is 1.6. How do I calculate this? I just multiply 10% by 16, which is exceptional distinction score. 16 times 10% would be 1.6, and I need to input this number into my rubrics. So I just send this to another screen. I'm filling the table. So the first one would be 1.6. Then next one is 1.5, 1.4. So I'm checking the table and then input the number here. For low distinction is 1.3. High commendation 1.2. Next one 1.1. Low commendation is just 1. High pass 4.9. 0.8, 4.7, 4.6. For mid fail is 0.4. Then for low fail is 0.2, and for 0 is just 0. And you can see the maximum score that a student can get is 1.6, because exceptional distinction is 16, so 10% of exceptional distinction is 1.6. So the calculation is correct. Right, the first criterion is done. Now I need to move to the second criterion, which is health and safety. But first I need to bring it up to have this heading visible. The way I do it, when you hover your mouse on this criteria, you can see this something like a waffle right here, waffle icon. If you click twice, you can move it. So I send quality of report to the second place, and now I have managing health and safety in the first place, and I can incorporate my descriptors and also add my weightings here. I start with adding weighting this time, so it's 30% again on my table. I mean this one, I found 30%, row number 13. I highlight it, then send it to the other screen. So for the 30%, this one would be, exceptional distinction is 4.8. Okay, how do I calculate this? 30% times 16, right? Would be 4.8. So high distinction is 4.5, 4.2, 3.9, 3.6. Mid commendation is 3.3. So low commendation is just 3. High pass is 2.7 and 3.4, 2.1, 1.8. Mid fail is 1.2. Low fail 4.6, and 0 is just 0. So the second criteria is also done. Now I need to copy and paste my descriptors here. But before that, a trick that can save time, this criteria weighting is 30%. If you look at my other criteria, again, they are 30%, right? So I have 3 criteria, 30% each, because these are the same numbers. So I have to add them to these 2 as well. But instead of that, I can copy this and just change the criterion descriptors, right? So how can I copy? You can see these 3 dots here. Click and then copy row. So now, again, as you can see, the weighting is the same. So you don't need to input these numbers again and again, right? I just copy and paste it here so I can use it as my criteria. I need another one. So copy row. And then from here, I know that this is the next criterion I need to work. So cut it and then paste it here. Or you can just keep inputting these numbers, the weighting for the other criteria. But if you copy and paste it, it's faster. So this is risk. And the final one is project plan. And I just paste it here. That's it. These 2, we don't need them anymore. Right click on 3 dots, delete row, delete again. Similarly, for this one, it takes a while. Yeah, for this one, again, click on 3 dots and then delete the row. Wait a little bit. It is now deleted. Now I can add my descriptors again from the assessment brief to here for this criterion. Okay, let's do it. So again, distinction, right click, paste as plain text for all distinctions. Then for commendation, I do the same thing. Then for pass, similarly, I just copy and then paste as plain text. Then for fail, I copy and paste. And then for 0, I just need to copy this here. Okay, so the second criterion is also completed and ready to use. Now I can move on to the other criteria I have here. So I have 2 more criteria. To save time, the video shorter, I just do it, behind the scene, and then you can see the results. Okay, so I copy and paste all of my descriptors here. As you can see, the levels are also defined. Points or scores are also weighted and inputted into the table for different criteria. They are all complete and we are ready to go to the next step. If you want to change the order of your criteria, as I showed you before, if you hover your mouse over your criterion, then you will see this waffle icon. Double click on it and then you can, for example, send it to the bottom. So now I have risk management first criterion and project plan the second criterion, but I want to return it back because this is my first criteria in my descriptor table. Another thing I need to say, below these boxes, so we have this box here that we input or automatic feedback. Below that, we have initial feedback section. You don't need to input anything in this box at the moment, right? You may utilize the initial feedback session to offer more specific feedback to students while you are marking their works. So we don't need to put anything here at the moment. The next thing we should do, we scroll down towards the bottom and now we should define the overscore levels, right? Similar to this one, to the table, we have these headings. We can have the same heading for overscore, right? So we need to add levels, band, and grade descriptors for overscore as well. The grade range should also be set. We talk about it later. I'll show you the table, but first we just add the levels. So first level is exceptional distinction. I always start from top to bottom, right? So high this, mid distinction, low distinction. Okay, so I need more columns. This is high com. Mid com. More columns again. So mid com, low com. And then high pass. Mid pass. Low pass. One more. So March fail. mid fail, low fail, and finally 0. Now I need to input the grade bands, right? So let me show you the tables. So if you are creating a rubric for undergrads, then you should use this table. The table is available in chapter 1 of the guide. Also, we have another table for postgrads, so you can use this one if you are creating a rubric for a postgraduate module. So I'm going to use this one. And when you want to input the grades, always go for the lower band, right? Don't put 16, put 15.5, 14.5, 13.5 for different bands that you have here. Okay, so I send this to another screen. So if someone wants to get exceptional distinction, they should score 15.5 or more. It gives you an error here. It's fine. Ignore it for now. We'll fix it later. So 15.5 is or more, student will get exceptional distinction overall, right? For high distinction, it is 14.5. So I'm just looking at the table and input the lower band into this matrix. So 13.5. Low distinction is 12.5. High come 11.5. So if a student gets 11.5 or more, the overall score will be high commendation. And these errors, just ignore them for now. They will be fixed. So mid commendation is 10.5, 9.5 for low commendation. High pass is 8.5. Mid pass is 7.5. Low pass 6.5. March fail is 4.5. Mid fail 2.5. Low fail 1.5. And 0 is just 0. Yeah. So as you can see, when I finished, all of those errors, they disappeared. So they are all fixed. Final thing I need to do, I need to copy and paste the level descriptors into these boxes at the bottom of each level or band, right? So again, I'll show you my assessment brief. So these are all done. They are added to the rubrics. So this is the generic level descriptor for level 7 or MSCs. So I just need to copy and paste these things, text into my rubric. So I start with exceptional distinction, copy in my rubric, right click, paste as plain text. Then other distinctions, they have the same descriptors. So paste as plain text. Then we have commendation descriptor. High come. Mid come and low come. For pass, again, I copy and paste them here. If you are teaching an undergraduate module, then you should use your level descriptor, which is different to this one. So pass is done, then March fail. Copy and paste it here. For mid fail again, paste it, low fail. Select, right click, paste as plain text. And finally for 0, copy and paste the descriptor in this box. So it looks quite good. You can check, you make sure everything is correct, everything is right. Make sure you have an analytic type, make sure you've used custom points, check these numbers again. Always double check it, make sure it's correct. And when you are happy with the whole rubric. You can just click on close. Rubrics saves everything automatically, so you don't need to save it. When you click on close, the whole thing is done, is finished, and you can use it in your Dropbox folder. As you can see, a new rubric is now added to this page, Introduction to Content and Management, Element 2, and it is a report. While we are here, it's good to show you and explain the meaning of this chain. So the small icon like a chain here we have, it means that this rubric is attached to a Dropbox, and someone has used this rubric to mark students' work. So when you see this chain, it means that this rubric is under use at present. This video was about creating a rubric. In the next video, I will show you how to deploy this new rubric into your Dropbox folder. Thanks for watching and see you later.